It was a hot summer morning when I arrived in Pune on the 1st of August. I was there to meet Dr. Shantanu Abhyankar. And although we'd been friends for years now, this would be our very first face to face meeting. But I was also well aware that this could be our last. My first stop, a flower shop to buy him a bouquet, and after that, it would be his home. It was 2 weeks before this that I received a message from Dr. Shantanu. He informed me that the treatment he was undergoing for lung cancer was failing. He wasn't sure how much time he had. He wanted to help me in whatever capacity he could because he believed in my mission. I called him back immediately and found myself short of words. He answered my call but was gasping for breath between words. I could see how much of a strain it was on him just to talk. He told me what was happening, and I made him a promise that I would come to Pune to meet him. Which brings us to the events of August 1st. I'm not sure if all of you watching know who Dr. Shantanu is. I featured him in two of my videos on the main channel. One was a video on homeopathy, and the other was a live stream on the fate of medical aspirants who write the NEET entrance exam. I'll link both those videos down below. What I admire Dr. Shantanu for is the fact that he was a giant among us rationalists. Before we were even born in the 1980s, he had enrolled in a homeopathy course. And unlike most students who enroll in that course, who just end up studying it, he realized it was a waste of time back then. And he got out of it and enrolled in proper medicine. He got an MBBS degree and an MD in OBGYN and was practicing for several decades until he passed away. He understood the problematic non-evidence based nature of homeopathy before the internet. His thoughts and ideas were more progressive than any you'd come across at that time. Not only was he a very vocal critic of homeopathy, he was also a proponent of bringing modern medicine to rural populations.
When something is proved to be useful, it automatically becomes part of modern medicine, mainstream medicine. It's no longer complementary.
I'll link that particular TED talk down below. Anyone who's interested can watch. And he also did a lot of science communication in Marathi using his own YouTube channel, which I don't think will be active again. I don't know. But yeah, I'll link that also below. Needless to say, he was an atheist and either was directly involved in or worked with multiple rationalist organizations in Maharashtra, including the Andhashraddha Nirmulan Samiti, which many of you know was founded by Narendra Dabholkar. He was also an author, and besides writing his own works, he also translated multiple famous books, including children's books, into Marathi. One of his recent works was The Magic of Reality by Richard Dawkins. For me personally, he's been a great source of inspiration from the very beginning. I remember we first spoke some 2 or 3 years ago when my channel had less than 20,000 subscribers. Not this channel, the main channel scienceisdope had less than 20k. I remember feeling how much of a great honor it was to speak to the man. We'd been in touch since then, and I'd known about his cancer 2 years ago. And he was doing quite well back then under treatment, and he had even returned to work. In fact, when he did that live stream with me, he had already had the cancer. Back to the events in Pune. I arrived at his home around 3 p.m. and was greeted by his daughter. He was sleeping. I met his wife and son-in-law and patiently waited for him to wake up. When he finally did, I got to meet the man for the first time after years of just talking to him on the phone. We spoke for a while and he told me about his early years in the rationalist movement and about how we both had so much in common between us. This moment kind of lit a spark within me, spark of inspiration, knowing that I was on the same path as him, knowing how many lives he had influenced. I didn't take any photos or videos on that day, feeling it may be too inappropriate. That's why this video is just me talking, has no visuals from that day. All I have with me from that day are two books that he gave me. One is Jadui Vastav, which is Magic of Reality, the Richard Dawkins book, and the other is another Marathi book on modern medicine. After a while of talking to him, I could see that it was tiring him out, and it started getting more and more effortful for him to talk. And I decided to leave voluntarily and catch the flight back home. He passed away 2 weeks after that on the 15th of August. And I should have probably made this video sooner, but I was engrossed in other works at that time. In fact, there's a main channel video that's about to come out soon, which I was working on at that time. But yeah, this is a video that I had wanted to make from that day, but my experiences of meeting the man. As I sat on the flight back home, I thought about the impact the day's events had left on me. For many of you, I may just be a YouTuber making a bunch of videos and commenting on some rashless takes and reacting to some videos or whatever. But being able to influence the thoughts of those watching and helping people, think in a more evidence-based manner means a lot to me. I know I don't say this a lot in my videos, but on that day I was reminded of how much of an impact what I was doing has, and it motivated me in my aim of wanting to spread rationality among as many people as I can. Thank you, Dr. Shantanu, for reminding me of this. I know I can probably end this video on a beautiful poetic sounding note about how you're looking down on all of us, but I don't believe in any of that. And I know you don't either. But I know one thing for sure, the life you lived has changed millions of others for the better. And it has inspired me in more ways than you can imagine. Goodbye, my friend. You will be missed.